Look at that. I just bought a new light for vlogging and for making short films, and by the looks of it, looks pretty good. So, as you guys saw in the title, it's called Why I Must Succeed. So we're gonna go ahead and get into that, but first of all I want to welcome you guys to the channel if it's your first time coming. My name is Randy Puff and you are watching Frontier Resolution. I'm a photographer, videographer, a traveler, and of course a rising star. So let's get into it. Alright, so as I stated before, this video is about why I must succeed in life. But before we get into that, I'm gonna start off with middle school. Which, by the way guys, I have so many different stories from school. We're gonna get more into that later. I did some things I wasn't supposed to. Actually, you know what? I should probably do a video on things I shouldn't have done in middle school. Sorry, I'm getting teary-eyed. Sorry, just thinking back to like middle school. Oh, so many good times. Woo. Sorry, give me a second. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is, back in middle school is when I really started getting a bit more creative. I created like a small clip of me being Indiana Jones, and I put it on my laptop and I showed my teacher and he was like, "Whoa, this is pretty cool," and I was like, "Yay!" But that's really how it started off. And I started doing a little bit more drawings, watching a little bit more films, watching how people made videos. And then, of course, the real magic happened once I transitioned into high school. Now, high school wasn't all that great, but creating my short films was probably the best part about it. My first real success was when I created Blade Randy 2069, which was one of my very first videos. It got a little over 800 views and it stirred quite a bit of, what do you call it? Conflict? No. Interest. Quite a bit of interest. People, for some reason, really liked watching it. And me, being the arrogant person I was back then, was like, people love my films, I'm amazing, I'm like, people love me, I am a god. I really thought that, but then I realized people weren't watching my video because they liked it. People were watching my video because other people were telling them, "Look at this idiot on screen." I mean, if you watch the film, you'd see how terrible the video quality was. I was, no joke, if you watch the film, you can see me looking at the script while the film is being recorded. You can see, and there were so many terrible mistakes that were made. You know, I'd look at the camera, or I would be looking at the script, or my jacket would be off in the next scene. That caused a lot of, like, people just didn't take me seriously. They just watched it because they liked seeing me fail. They liked making fun of me. That was why people enjoyed watching Blade Runner 2069. So, from there, I was arrogant, and I thought, you know, there's nothing wrong with my films. They were awesome. I'm gonna make more just like it. So I made the mistake of making another Blade Randy, and that one was called Before 2069. And then I created another one, which was called Blade Randy 2070. And slowly I started realizing that people weren't watching my films anymore. I realized, okay, maybe I am doing something wrong. So I started looking into it and I realized, okay, there has been some improvement, but I'm not doing anything that's creative or interesting. And then of course, I decided maybe, just maybe, I should start trying to change things up a bit. But of course, once I started thinking maybe I should do something a little bit more creative, something happened. And that was Clayton Willis came into the picture. Now for those who don't know who Clayton Willis is, he is a YouTube content creator. He creates videos for YouTube. Originally he started off with, because he was in radio, TV, and film, which was a high school, you know, film class. And they would assign projects and he would create little short films to go along with that, and he would put them onto YouTube. People loved it. And then later on, as time went, as time progressed, he started entering into film competitions, and he won money for the schools, and he won money for himself. And you know what? I think that's great. So as time went on and people started watching more and more of his videos, I slowly kind of moved out of the picture. People no longer cared about Randy Puff or Frontier Resolution. I became that guy that was the running joke and the person who just created Blade Randy 2069. Nothing very special, and it's very forgettable. Now the main reason that people started watching more of Clayton's videos was because he had the popular kids. He had Bryce Darren, which, he started off as a tough guy that was a football player, and then he slowly transitioned into becoming a guy who was in short films, and look at me, I could do a few backflips, front flips, and I could do some high jump scenes. I don't know, I'm pretty cool. He was just that kind of guy that everyone thought was awesome because, well, he's Bryce Darren. He was on the football team. And no offense to you, Bryce Darren. I love you. I think you're a pretty cool guy. Kind of. Whatever. You can say whatever you want about me. I don't care anymore. This ain't high school. Anyways. And then they had... What's his name? Dan Von Ullman. Dan Von Ullman, who I believe he was a theater kid. I don't know. Very smart guy. He was in a lot of AP classes, I believe. And he was always like... He seemed like that kind of person that was nice to your face, but as soon as you turned around, he'd talk shit about you to other people. And Dan, I'm sorry, I don't like you as much as I like Bryce Darren, so... And then, of course, they had a few other people that would go into the short films, and they were all popular people, and people love popular people in high school, so they watched their videos and then they praised them. And I guess there's, that wasn't all the reason why people went over to watch Clayton's videos. It also had to do with the fact that he was really good at video editing. Clayton, I think you do really well with video editing. Your cinematography is great. Your color grading is very nice. Your effects are awesome. You've done some lightsaber effects, and I think that's great. There's nothing wrong with getting creative. But the main thing that I think Clayton was missing from his films was storyline, which is what I try to focus on now. I think this is me just trying to give you some advice, Clayton. I think you should focus a little bit more on creating a story instead of focusing on action. But that's not the point. The point is, people loved watching his videos, and that left me kind of like, okay, what do I do now? People aren't watching my videos. So I kind of fell into a moment of desperation. I started just creating stuff that didn't make sense. I created... what was it? I created Break, which was basically a rip-off version of Clayton's videos. I tried to throw out a bunch of effects, like laser effects and different sound effects, and I tried to do fancy color grading. I put the cinematic bars on there. I was trying way too hard to be Clayton Willis. And I'm sorry, looking at it now, I was being a complete moron. I am not Clayton Willis. I am Randy Puff. I need to come up with my own style, my own version of what I think should be success. So after I hit that low point where I just started releasing content just to kind of release it and try and gather the attention of people, I eventually came to a stop, and I realized, okay, people, they're obviously not watching my videos, care more about Clayton, maybe I should just stop. So I did. For a short period of time, I stopped creating short films, and I fell into the state where I thought, maybe I'm just not meant for this. Maybe I just can't do it. And I just stopped. I guess you could say I kind of became depressed. I didn't believe in myself. I fell into this place where I thought, maybe I'm not meant for more. Maybe I'm just not that good enough. But of course, once the hero of the story is about to reach his final moments on Earth and is about to die, the ultimate hope finally arrives, and the hero gathers his strength back up, and he goes, I can save the day. Of course, the thing that gave me hope again was Ethan Holt. Now, shout out to you. I think you have always been very good at coming up with new ideas. You're not exactly, I guess, I feel like sometimes you try and copy off other films that you've seen, but overall, I think you're very good with bringing ideas to my short films. So I want to give you a quick shout out. Thank you for that. Go follow him on Instagram. I give you a link to that in the description. But aside from that, you know, I was sitting there all depressed, and one day he came up to me and he was like, hey, I have this short film that I have in mind. And he had a whole script written out, and I looked at it, I read over it, and I was like, what? Okay. When I first read the script, it was all over the place. It was not very good. So I talked to Ethan about it. I'm like, okay, you know, I don't really like some of the ideas in here. So instead of going with what was written on the script, we kind of went along with it for the most part. But as we were going on filming in the process, we changed things up, we got other people's opinions, and then of course, I took more time with video editing. I tried to be more patient. I tried to create something that was good. And of course, that short film was Abhorrence. Feel free to go check it out. Credit to Ethan Holt for writing it. Thank you so much for giving me the idea. And letting me build off of it and creating our own little project. Thank you so much. And thank you to Luke Medorsky for being in that project. I didn't give him any credit for that. And thank you to Kyle for helping me out to film it, to come up with more ideas. So just thank you for that, you guys. And thank you for kind of building up my confidence again to start creating short films and believing in myself. So, shout out to you guys. So after Abhorrence was created and we did that, and it kind of got quite a bit of attention, people started watching my short films again. I was like, okay, now that that's finished, now I'm gonna start working on the next short film. And that one, you know, we started writing different scripts. We had many different films idea. I had one called Affliction, and we had, I think there was 2 other ones that we were debating on whether or not we should do. But then of course COVID hit, and then I hit that state again where I was like, I'm not gonna get anywhere with short films. I'm kind of done. There's no more left to do. I can't do it. Can't go anywhere to film. You can't gather with people. Once again, I hit that state where I was depressed, and I was like, ugh, life is hopeless. But then I decided, you know what, maybe I should try filming something on my own. So I developed this idea of creating 2069, which I got the 2069 idea from my original film, Blade Randy 2069. I thought maybe I should create a film that I wish was a way, sorry, let me re-explain this. I was trying to create a film that I wish was the way that Blade Randy 2069 turned out. And so I did. I created 2069, which was kind of like Blade Randy. It had that cyberpunk feel, I guess, that I would have wanted. And it had that, you know, the little bit of action, the perfect storyline. Everything just kind of came together in that, and I was very happy. And thank you to Ethan and Kyle once again for helping me with that short film. Ethan, you always have really good ideas to add on. Thank you for that. I took them into consideration, and I kind of put them into the short film, took some of your ideas out of it, and then I don't know. Thank you. You did a really good job. So, of course, you know, we've already gone through the entire timeline of middle school, high school, and of course now. But now I've got to talk about the point of the video. which is why I must succeed. Why do I need to succeed? Why does my past matter? And why does now matter? And why does the future matter? Why do I need to be successful later on in life? And the reason is, throughout high school, I was made fun of the entire time. I was compared to someone else, which was Clayton Willis, which, people would look at me and then think, oh, you suck, you will never get anywhere. I was always put down by people. People didn't believe I could become famous in the near future because I wasn't Clayton Willis. And now, thinking about it, now, I could have just easily given up and been like, you know what, this is too hard, forget it, I'm never going to meet up to, their expectations, so why bother? I could have just given up right there and then, which I have a few times. I've given up. But at the end of the day, you've got to realize everything worthwhile, everything that you love doing, it's going to be hard no matter what. Of course, one day you're going to be successful and you're going to be able to look those people in the eye. The same exact people that looked at you and said, hey, you're not going to be successful. You're going nowhere. When you become famous, when I become famous, I'll be able to look those same exact people in the eye and be like, you were wrong. And look at you now. You're sitting there working an office job, working crappy hours with crappy pay. And now I'm living the high life. I mean, wouldn't you just, I don't know, so many people, I'm sorry, I have to become successful. Because those people are just waiting for that moment where I just give up. And I'll leave it at that. But I'm not gonna do it. So before I close up this video today, I just want to give special thanks to those people who have always, been there to support me. Thank you to my mom and dad. They've always been very critical of my videos. They point out the good, they point out the bad, and they're always like, hey, this is how you can improve. So thank you for that. Thank you to Kyle Smigelski for being a downer. You're kind of a depressing dude. You look at a project and you're like, oh, I don't know if we could do that. And it kind of gets me mad and angry at you. I'm like, really, Kyle? Why do you have to be like that? So I get up and do it myself, and I'm like, yeah. And it helps me to kind of just get up and do things. Special thanks to Ethan Holt as well. You watch so many different films, and that gives you ideas, and then you give those ideas to me, and then I put those in my short film. So thank you for that. You've always been an extra part of being creative. Thank you. And of course, I want to give a special shout out to a teacher back in high school, Mr. Walters. He was my language arts teacher. He was very encouraging. He helped me to just kind of be myself, not care about what other people thought. You've kind of been a supporter of me, so thank you for that. And of course, I want to give a special thanks to Clayton Willis. Thank you for being competition. Thank you for being that guy that just kind of put me down without realizing it, but at the same time realizing it because you have done some things. But thank you for that. And guys, I'm going to leave a link to his channel down in the description and down in my channel, Channels tab? Yeah, Channels tab. So guys, feel free to check out his content. It's pretty good, I have to admit. So thank you for all those people that have just kind of encouraged me to do better. So that's the end of the video. Thank you, and I'll catch you guys later.